Episode 450. This just made the live atmosphere even more electric. Zhou Zikai was completely dominating Deng Fusheng. For a match between two all-star players, this couldn't be blamed on Deng Fusheng being weak. It could only mean Zhou Zikai was too strong to an almost absurd degree. Zhou Zikai's die-hard fans in the arena had already unfurled a banner that read "Glory's #1 player," and it was being waved frantically. With a performance this brilliant, Zhou Zikai truly does live up to the name. Zhou Zikai had single-handedly thrown the entire four-man squad of Team 2 into disarray. Wang Jiexi, Deng Fusheng, Zhang Xinjie, Wu Yuche. These were all big names in the pro scene. Yet right now, they were being tossed around like random nobodies, utterly overwhelmed by his onslaught. Desperate to regain the upper hand, Team 2's Wang Jiexi sent Vicaria flying after Cloudpiercer. But Huang Shaotian's troubling rain intercepted him in a flash, and the two immediately erupted into a dazzling, chaotic clash. For the moment, it was impossible to tell who would come out on top. Meanwhile, Wu Yuche's ghost guest, who had been sent flying by Zhou Zikai's suppressing fire, was now receiving attention from one of the only two female players in the all-star match. Both of them were highly skilled tacticians and close friends who often played together in their spare time. Their coordination now was like adding wings to a tiger. Wu Yuche's ghost guest was a rather uncommon type of ghost blade in the pro scene, a balanced build that specialized in both slashing attacks and ghost arrays. Versatile as he was still no match for a 2-on-1 assault. He was already being forced into a steady retreat. Zhang Xinjie's cleric, a heavily support-oriented class with limited offensive power, tried to rush to his aid, but was intercepted by Yu Wenzhou's Swaxar. Swaxar then proceeded to engage the cleric in a deliberate, unhurried duel. Zhang Xinjie saw it clearly now. Team 1's tactical intent was exactly what Huang Shaotian had been shouting about earlier, to split them up and force a series of one-on-one duels. Once their formation was broken, the fight devolved into a series of one-on-one duels. Team 1 is stacked with pure damage dealers. In a one-on-one fight, Team 2 is naturally at a disadvantage. Li Xuan's Crying Devil had already fallen. A quick glance at the remaining players showed Wang Jiexi and Huang Shaotian were fighting to a standstill, while Deng Fusheng was being completely suppressed by Zhou Zikai, putting him in a very passive position. As for Wu Yuche, to call his situation passive would be putting a positive spin on it. Outnumbered 2-1, he was currently getting pummeled. The biggest flaw with Chu Yunshu as a player is that she often buckles under pressure and her performance falters. But this is the all-star game. It's all for show. With zero pressure on her, Chu Yunshu's performance is in no way inferior to top-tier gods like Wang Jiexi, Huang Shaotian, or Zhou Zikai. With Chu Yunshu leading the assault, supported by Su Mucheng, who was a master at playing off others, Wu Yuche was left with almost no room to fight back. There is still one top-tier ace on Team 2's side, Han Wenqing. He and his Desert Dust were originally sitting on the bench. After Li Xuan's Crying Devil died, the substitute character automatically entered the field. There are multiple designated swap zones on the map. Even in the heat of battle, as long as you're standing in one, you can instantly switch between your two characters. However, the swapped-out character will be on cooldown. Even with equipment or skills that can restore health or mana, you can't just sit on the bench and slowly recover to a perfect state. Han Wenqing's Desert Dust had already been automatically substituted in, but was still nowhere to be seen. Zhang Xinjie took one look at the map and immediately realized the problem. The current battleground was a fair distance from any of the substitution zones. No matter where Han Wenqing chose to spawn, it would take him some time to get here. Wang Jiexi and his partner weren't in any immediate danger. Deng Fusheng was being suppressed, but he could still hold on. But Wu Yuche, fighting 2-on-1 and utterly defenseless, simply couldn't hold out any longer. In a situation where you're getting pounded from all sides, taking out a single character takes less than half a minute. And now it's 2 against 1. We have a healer right here, but we can't even use him. Zhang Xinjie was feeling anxious himself, but his opponent, Yu Wenzhou, was a man of formidable insight. Right now, he wasn't even trying to inflict damage on Zhang Xinjie's stone not turned. He was just tying him down, preventing him from moving forward to assist his teammate. That was well within Yu Wenzhou's capabilities. If this stalemate continues, Team 2 is in serious trouble. Zhang Xinji could see the problem, but he was powerless to fix it. The other three were outmatched. Only Wang Jishi could do something about it now. Neither Wang Jiexi nor Huang Shaotin had managed to gain the upper hand over the other. Wang Jiexi took one look and saw his team was in dire straits overall. Fighting this chatterbox was a complete waste of time. With a twist of his broom, Vicaria took flight. He didn't go to rescue Ghost Guest, who was in the most critical danger, but instead charged straight for Zhang Xinjie, who couldn't find an opening to help his own teammate. This judgment left Zhang Xinjie genuinely satisfied. Vicaria flew in, dropping a lava flask that spread a sea of fire, forcing Yu Wenzhou's Swaxar to retreat. Vicaria closed in and unleashed another flurry of attacks. Wang Jiexi's unpredictable, magician-like style was a complete counter to Yu Wenzhou. He could see Wang Jiexi's intentions, he knew what to do, and he even knew how to counter them, but he just couldn't pull it off. All Yu Wenzhou could do in that moment was leave a bitter smile on his lips and run for his life. Huang Shaotin knew full well that if his captain ran into Wang Jishi, he'd be in for a world of hurt. He immediately gave chase to provide backup, but by then, Wang Jishi had already cut loose completely. Vicaria, riding his broom like a rocket, zipped around with arrogant abandon. He didn't just harass the two from Blue Rain. His wildly flung spells and magic items dragged Zhou Zikai, Chu Yunshu, and Su Mucheng into the fray as well.
In terms of damage or threat, there really wasn't much to speak of.
But just like Zhou Zikai's earlier wildfire barrage, Wang Jixi's sudden eruption also threw Team 1's formation into disarray. Having broken free, Deng Fusheng moved to link up with Zhang Xinjie. A knight and a cleric, one to defend and one to heal. It's a combination that's not particularly lethal, but it's incredibly insulting. It might not kill you, but it can sure drag things out and drive you up the wall. Over on the other side, Wu Yuqi, who was hanging on by a thread, suddenly received aid and immediately perked up. He quickly looked for an opening to regroup with Zhang Xinjie's cleric, but he hadn't anticipated that Chu Yunshu would suddenly display an unprecedented level of ferocity. Having dealt with both flanks, Wang Jishi now focused entirely on disrupting the two female players. Yet Chu Yunshu didn't retreat. Instead, she used her elementalist's frail body to try and tank the damage, aiming to blast Wu Yuqi's Ghost Guest to pieces right then and there.